Good evening, Doctor. Dr. Hasslein has given me some questions for my Q&A, and this is his video with the answers in them. So, Doc, first question is there a film that you can say changed your life or had a significant impact on it? Every film I see has an impact on my life, or at least on my sensibilities, my sense of what makes a good film or a bad film. And someone asked a similar question earlier. And I'd say two very, very important movies for me, aside from the very first movies I saw when I was a kid, like Star Wars and Star Trek, Superman, what have you, were Back to the Future in 1985 and Seven in 1995. I was very, very impressed by the writing and just the whole execution. Everything about them was just amazing and thrilling. Yeah, there's plenty of movies that I love, but those two kind of really stand out to me. Number two, are you a fan of Stephen King, his books and film adaptations? You know, I actually started reading Stephen King when I was in high school. This was ages ago, of course, 1989 or something like that. The first few that I started with Firestarter because I really liked the concept behind it. And then I went on to read Cujo and Christine and Thinner. And probably my favorite Stephen King book is his anthology of 4 novellas, different seasons, 3 of which, of course, were turned into movies. And probably the very best Stephen King adaptation ever comes from, you know, Rita Hayworth in The Shawshank Redemption, which was turned into the movie with Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman and Frank Darabont directing. Can't say that I'm a huge fan of Stephen King films, all in all, but hey, you know, Shawshank, you know, no small feat there. That's a darn good movie. What was your most memorable movie-going experience? Going to the theater? Easy. Going to see Seven in 1995. I went opening day. I was working at a shoe store basically later that day. In the evening, because retail, you know, they do their business in the evening mostly on the weekdays. So I went to a matinee show, watched the film, the credits rolled, the lights came up, and another 15 minutes went by before I finally got up out of my seat. I was so incredibly devastated by what I'd seen. I've had some really fun experiences. When I was a kid, you know, you get into, you know, the excitement and the humor of whatever it is you're seeing, and as you get older, those experiences are more rare. It's difficult to be psychologically displaced because, especially for someone like me, who's always sort of analyzing what I'm seeing. When a movie makes me forget to think about technique and just sucks me in, that's amazing. Most recently, Inception, which I saw in an IMAX theater at Chicago's Navy Pier. What an experience that was, man. Such an exciting movie. I had this huge smile on my face during some of those scenes. But Seven is the king of all of them, just because it was so incredibly whatever. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, I was just floored by the movie, all in all. And since I worked in a shoe store afterwards, I was, you know, helping customers, and this lady comes up to me with a shoe, says, "Hi, can I see this in a size 7?" I go, "Yeah!" "Sure, of course, let me get there for you. Be right back." Yes, I love it. David Fincher, of course. My favorite movie by him, and I've liked a lot of his movies, but nothing tops that one. Have you ever done any traveling overseas? I haven't. The only foreign country I've been to is Canada, and I just sort of traveled through that on my way from like New York State to Michigan. I'd love to go to England. I think Paris would be nice. I studied French in school, and I looked at a map of Paris and thought, well, that'd be a fun city to run around in. And my dad went to Rome, and he liked that a lot, so I might like to see that at some point. But no plans right now. You know, got a lot to do before I can afford to take big long vacations to all sorts of fun European cities or what have you. Yeah, the only, I would say this is your second part of your question is, what were your favorite destinations? As far as traveling here in America, I love San Francisco. When I went there, I've been there like twice. My grandma, when she was still alive, lived in Arizona, which is a very nice state. I've enjoyed visiting friends in New York, my dad lives in Florida. I've enjoyed traveling there, of course, but I've never really been out of the United States for more than a few hours. So there's your answer there. Thank you very much, Doctor, sir. Appreciate it. You have yourself a good night.